I'd like to be able to be a little bit more real than how I am right now
Are they being naive or
about what people are gonna say, what people are gonna think.
underestimating how bad Filipinos can be? I mean, sorry for saying that, but I'm sure it's like that in any country, any nationality.
This whole cussing thing and whatnot here and there, I don't really cuss that much, to be honest with you.
That's a different sort of calculation in my head. Does that make any sense?
No. Two guys, two worlds. This is the flip side. New episodes uploaded on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify every week on Wednesday and Saturday. Now, here's your host, Jason and Noel.
Oh, oral.
That's what I said, you nincompoop. Welcome back to the flip side. My name is Jason.
My name is Noel. This is the podcast where we try to cover our foreheads.
Yes, that's right. We got to cover it one way or the other. Today is the 15th February, episode 14, ladies and gentlemen.
One of us just came from a nice dinner with the family, and one of us just woke up and got out of bed.
It was a nice dinner, but at the end, when that gentleman hands you the piece of paper with numbers in it, I'm crying inside.
This is your ticket out, boy. You're not getting out of here. Have you ever had that experience where you actually couldn't pay for the dinner or for whatever it is that you brought to the cashier or what?
Yeah, my card didn't go through at one point, so I had to.
Isn't it funny when the card doesn't go through and they tell you and I gave this girl like as if it was her fault. What do you mean the card didn't go through?
Yeah, I did that. I definitely did that.
That means you don't know what you're doing. Get another.
Right.
Are you in training? Get of someone that has experience in letting the card go through, as if it was their job to get the card to go through.
Yeah, at one point I almost made a waitress cry, almost, but you could tell she was about to go into tears because I was just going at it. I did the exact same thing that you did. Like, what do you mean? There's money in there. I can log into my account. I show you right now.
It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean it didn't go through? My mom just paid for that.
It's the worst.
Or my daddy just said that he paid.
There was one occasion where it was definitely my fault. I mean, there was money in the account, but there's a daily, like a daily maximum spending limit. Does that make sense? And I've already maxed out the daily spending apparently, so that sucked. I had to literally leave something. I can't remember what. Oh no, I left my cell phone, and then I had to go to the bank, get cash, come back.
Driver's license. You could leave some kind of ID.
Well, no, because I have to drive to the bank.
And then when you get to the bank, please open your cell phone app to access the bank. It's like I left my cell phone at the cashier.
At the restaurant? Yeah.
There was this time I was in Hong Kong. I tried to get a camera. As soon as we swipe, it's like the merchant, the cashier gets a call. It's like it's your bank.
What do you mean gets a call?
Gets a call. Like the phone rings. The cashier gets a
call from their bank or your bank?
From my bank. Oh, no, wait. From their bank. No. I think it was my... Wait, hold on. I might get the story wrong. I think they called me. Yeah. I think
they probably called you.
Yeah, I think the bank called me. It's like, yeah, I am in Hong Kong. Like, because it's a Philippine...
Right.
Anyway, it became inconvenient because they canceled the card before they called me. So...
Yes.
It's like, yeah, so it's useless now that you're calling me to tell me that I can't make the purchase because you already blocked the card and they can't turn it back on now that I'm saying, yes, I'm acknowledging the purchase.
But so what happens on the rest of your trip? You don't have a card. Do they turn it all back on or what?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't actually need the card for the rest of the trip. It was just for that particular camera purchase.
I see.
But the thing that pissed me off was like, bro, you could have like called me and asked me first and then blocked the card if I say that that's not me.
Well, no, they did the right thing because just in case they can't get a hold of you and there's continuous purchasing, then
And bro, end of the story is I didn't get the camera.
Oh, that sucks. Oh man, I'm so sorry. That sucks. You guys don't have that in the Philippines, like in the banks. Like when we travel, like for instance, if we're going further to a different state and whatnot, I call our credit card companies or I shoot them a message and a bank letting them know we're gonna be here, here, and here. Authorize the transactions. That will be us. Yada yada yada.
Maybe there is, but I didn't know. I found out the hard way. I found out when I was trying to make the purchase. So I guess there is.
Sucks.
There probably is. I'm just not aware of it. But in that particular moment, like I said, I found out the hard way that.
Well, that's how I learned about it too. I think we were at the beach. We went to a beach for the summertime, and our card wouldn't go through. But the good thing is they didn't cancel the card. They just turned it off, I guess, and then they called us.
Like a restriction.
Yeah.
But not completely cancel or block.
No, thank God.
Yeah. So I guess the flip side of that experience was that was fast. That was like 30 seconds from trying to swipe it that they called. That was like maybe 2 minutes, but it was really fast. So in other words, at least their technology or whatever precautions that they were trying to do that they have in place worked. So that was actually nice.
Well, the flip side to that is you're safe. You're not getting robbed or anything.
That's right.
Fraudulent activity.
That's totally opposite from that was like from a physical store, but it's totally different horror stories like with online purchases. Have you had nightmares like that?
Luckily enough, not too much. I've never even really, maybe only once, and I don't even remember what it was, but I've never really had a bad shopping experience online. I've been lucky so far.
I'll tell you a quick story. The past couple of, let's say a couple of months, my dad's been like looking at me with an eye, right? Like as if I stole something from him. So he doesn't tell me straight up, but I finally find out that, and I hope this doesn't embarrass. No, I don't think this embarrasses my dad. He finally.
Does it matter?
I find out from it's not like they're going to listen, right? But I find out like from like a third party, from the grapevine,
right?
That it turns out that he's been suspicious of me because he thinks that I try to swipe his credit card.
What?
Because he found out because I used this card before. I asked for, I needed to borrow somebody's card. He lent it to me. I told him exactly what I was buying. So that went through. That's fine. So I've done it before. Like, let's say that was like 3 years ago.
Right.
And then more recently, maybe about 6 months to about a year ago, according to the bank that he went to a couple of weeks ago. You get it? So a couple of weeks ago, he went to the bank, finds out from the bank, only then finds out from the bank that there was somebody that tried to swipe or tried to use his card online.
Really?
The bank didn't bother to let him know. Well, no, I think the bank tried to let him know, but the phone number that's associated to his account was not updated, so he didn't find out until he had to physically go to the bank when something else was wrong.
Right.
So he went there to fix that. Bank tells him that, sir, I don't know if you know this, but about a year or 2 years ago, there was somebody that tried to swipe your card online to make an online purchase. Aside from the one that I made, the one that I acknowledged that I asked my dad to pay for. So the bank says it was from a guy named Noel. Oh, that's my son. And he tried to swipe it or he tried to use it on his laptop. So they could find out like which device that you actually tried to use the card on. So past couple of weeks, my dad's been like looking at me like, I know what you're, he's looking at me suspicious. And then, and then without my dad talking to me directly about it, another person tells him, but Dad or sir, Noel hasn't had that laptop for like 3 years now. How could Noel be the one? Anyway, so because it had my name on it, my credit score to my dad was at zero or negative because it was my name that tried to swipe it. But it didn't push through. It just says whose device was.
Was used.
Long story short of this conversation or this story is that my dad and I have a weird, not so strained relationship, but sort of an awkward relationship that we're not close in such a way that instead of him apologizing for saying, son, sorry that I,
accused you.
You know what he did yesterday? Like quite literally, I'm on this computer. He knocks on my door and he says, son, here's 7,000 pesos. Have a good day.
What?
I was like,
for what?
And I just said, thank you or whatever. But I have a feeling that it's connected to his guilt for feeling that he accused me. So instead of apologizing, like he makes it rain and just throws money at me.
So this was literally just yesterday.
That's the kind of relationship that my dad and I have right now.
Wow. How do you feel about that?
I don't know if I want to give it back or if I'm going to spend it. I haven't touched it.
Well,
because if I give it back to him, it's going to insult him.
Correct.
If I use it, I feel disgusting. So I'll just put it in the piggy bank. That answers your question.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it? That's how I feel about it. I don't know if that's a feeling, but that's how the imbalance,
the
dynamic kind of relationship that we have. And he gave me a free T-shirt, so I'm happy. Philippine Airlines, 55 years.
That's weird. Well, you know what? It's not that weird. It's like that's the way he shows his feelings and whatnot.
He doesn't owe me any money.
Right.
There's no reason for me to give me any money.
Right.
Just said, hey, are you doing anything? No. Well, here's a little bit of cash that might help you for whatever.
You know what? I mean, I can relate to that, to be honest, because my mother-in-law's she's the exact same way. It's like parang lumalabas na like she's buying your you know what I mean? That's the exact same way your dad is. Your dad's just like that.
It's hard to complain.
Yeah, and why would you complain?
But you see how there's no like relationship, like you're not like really, I don't know. I complain about relationships being how you relate to each other, but this is sa Tagalog para ito yung kalakaran. This is the currency that we have between the relationship. It's not like words of affirmation or touching or hugging. It's how much do you need?
It's value. It's definitely value priced and whatnot. Hey, real quick, am I sounding like really? Am I okay?
You sound like you're shouting at my ear.
I'm sorry. I can't figure out this stupid. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix it either. Because it was fine the other day, or it's fine in some moments, but
yeah.
I
think it's just like my mic technique or something. I don't know.
Put it right on your nose or right on your face. Because remember the other day where I was saying that it was like you're like at the top or the tip of it.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
But I don't want it to be like this all the time, though. I mean, does this sound better like this?
It's too loud.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. Like right now.
There.
How?
There. See?
Is this something
that's
gonna work out for you?
You try to maintain that for the rest of the recording.
Is it making you horny?
It's making me sleepy. Actually, I need another cup of coffee.
I forgot you just woke up.
And again, apologies for the long delay. I thought it was going to be at least, I was half an hour early for our little
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the
uh,
message.
schedule. I was sitting here, waiting for you, and then all of a sudden, like a client call comes in. I thought it was going to be 5 minutes, turns
That's
into like a
fine.
15, 30 minute. I have
Business
to.
comes first. I mean, was it a good business call at least or no?
It is. It was. What's funny about like making. It was basically a cold client call, right? Because we've never
Right.
known each other from Adam and Eve, and we were just sort of texting each other. And I kind of wanted to get into this with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
How like my brain is sort of still trying to wrap, and I know it's 2023, like catch up, whatever, but my brain is still actually trying to catch up with the idea that we're actually making business, meeting people like online, and life is actually moving and happening, and you're earning through
While you're not moving.
in my pajamas
Right. Right.
from a t-shirt that my dad gave me 10 years ago.
Right. Right. And it's amazing, to be honest with you. I hope or I wish that I'm actually doing that similar thing, where I wouldn't have to get up every morning anymore and to go to work. I could just go downstairs. My wife works from home.
So phone rings, or actually, I asked if I can call. So phone rings on her end. She picks up. I was on a video call. I was assuming that she wanted to meet me on video
Right.
in person, but she's like, "Nah, please don't turn on the camera. I'm still in my. I haven't brushed my teeth yet," and that comes from her.
Right.
And it's just strange. It's like trying to wrap my head around this whole idea of doing, because like I guess I grew up thinking that business should be, coat and tie, be
Right.
professional,
Right.
formal, don't screw yourself over by wearing a t-shirt, talking to a doctor kind of interview, and here you are wearing pajamas.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, this whole lifestyle nowadays, and no matter where we are, it's gotten to be so lackadaisical. It's just like now
I
when
googled
you're
that word after you said that to me the other day. Like,
what
oh,
does it
your
what
life,
is that?
I'm so jealous. Your life is like so lackadaisy. It's like, fucking, what does lackadaisy actually mean? I googled it. It's one of the first words that I actually couldn't find the correct spelling for.
Okay.
And okay, when I did finally find something, what I mean is it's not like one of those words that you misspell and then Google just tells you what the correct spelling is,
No, because it's not an act. I don't think like it's an actual word.
but you're using it. So it's a
Well,
word.
yeah, because it's like a what do you call that? It's like a slang for relaxed, and you know what I mean?
The thing is, how do you pronounce it? Because the one that I find here is lackadaisical.
No, that's not even lackadaisical. Lackadaisical.
Can you
Like
type that in the chat and like send me the correct spelling? Because the one that I find here is if you okay, I'm reading now from the Google search that I found. If you say that someone is lackadaisical, and it's different, I know spelling that you're saying. If you say that someone is lackadaisical, you mean that they are rather lazy and do not show much interest or enthusiasm in what they do. Lawrence Stern, 18th century English novelist, first used it. Made out of the word lackadaisical, meaning listless, languid, inhibiting
maybe that is it, because I am
or
seeing the
interest.
exact same thing.
No spirit or interest. Did you try it? Lackadaisy? Did you? Are you? And is it two words? Is it one word?
It's one word. I don't even know how to spell it.
Exactly. It's like it's one of those words that you might just throw out because it's slang. And then when you type it, you're like, is it two words? Is it one word? Can Google help me with this?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I think it's just a slang that I picked up somewhere.
Same
So,
same with me. It's not the first time that I've heard it,
right,
but I
right.
wanted to sort of sink my teeth into it or dig into it because you used that word on me, and that's what I was afraid of, that people would find this. That's the reason. That's exactly the reason why I wanted it to be a super secret vlog.
Secret podcast where people find out we're stupid.
The people find out that I'm lackadaisical, which is a word that I don't even know how to spell. But
But again, we're going way off tangent here. I wanted to dive in more in regards to the business call that you had. So, If I can, is it like a business where, I mean, is it a call where, so you got a cold call, they're asking questions about you possibly recording for them or what?
Oh no,
Or
I
just camera at work,
in my lackadaisical lifestyle, I make videos on the side. I'm actually like a
like a videographer.
video producer or a writer director. So as
So
a
you do the actual filming, directing, editing, yada yada yada.
everything like a chef basically, and she wants to, let's say, put up a restaurant, quote unquote. So I'm like the chef. So
Right.
the way the cold call actually went, which is the reason why it took longer than I thought, because usually like these clients, and this is what I also wanted to bring up about online business. It's like they put up a post and then, just a bunch of people sort of replied to them. And so I was one of those people that replied, maybe I can help you out with whatever it is that you need. And of course, in their post, they don't really exactly say exactly what they need.
Right.
You're kind of feeling each other out on how much ingredients, the restaurant or your
I
client
got you.
might actually need. So,
So you have that conversation, and then you by that you feel out what kind of work, how long it's gonna take, and whatnot, and how much work to be done.
yeah, exactly,
And I'm assuming that's how you're basing your prices.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Because they might just need a cameraman. They might just need a voiceover. They might need everything from scratch. They might already have.
Can I ask how do you price this out? Like, for example, like on an old project that's already completed, how much money did you make out of it, and what kind of work did you do? Like, if I can ask, I'm just curious.
No, I think about it uh, like ingredients. Like it's like going to the market.
Right.
Okay, I want to make uh, tuyo and eggs for breakfast.
Okay.
So, depending on the budget, am I going to get the more expensive tuyo, the more expensive kind of rice, or am I going to get the cheap kind of rice? So you're kind of pushing and pulling and trying to feel each other out. If the other person is willing to spend for it, or is she trying to save up? What are her goals basically?
Right.
Is she trying to?
Well, I mean, that's how it starts. Eventually, But my question is, like, for example, maybe not your most recent project that you finished about a week or two ago.
Hmm.
Maybe the ones before.
No, that's
Like,
actually still hanging. There's still a carrot on the stick. Oh, we haven't paid you that last payment yet. We still got one more day.
really?
Yeah, because
No.
we're trying to tie up schedules with the mayor. It's a documentary, so
Okay.
it's not a production where we're shooting like in a studio or what. This is like we're following like quote unquote real people around, and it's the kind of project where I'm sort of available, not 24/7, but on call
Hmm.
because there's no specific production schedule. That doesn't answer
Got
your
it.
question. Just wanted to.
Yeah.
What were you asking? Sorry.
No, like for instance, like how much would you charge? For example, like I want to hire you to do a commercial for my restaurant. You know what I mean? Like everything from shooting and
Yeah.
script work,
It's
editing.
all it I'll just flat out say it. It all depends.
Right.
It depends if I get free food, it depends if you need a video every week or just one time this month, or do
Mm.
you need 10 videos in 10 days? It all like
For
depends.
example, maybe like 5 videos, and do you have to post that socially for them or what? How does that work out?
It depends. Do they
Uh,
want to post it themselves? Do they want to be the ones to click publish,
like
or do they want?
for example, if you create 5 and then you give them the finished product, and then you shot it, you wrote it, you edited it,
Yeah.
you created it, and like, so how much would you charge for something like that?
Are you trying to squeeze numbers out of me?
Yes, I am. I just want to know because I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to get a better idea of it. You know what I mean?
I want to give you not an example, but a story
It
first.
doesn't necessarily have to be the actual
Because
number that you gave out.
I'm trying to think if I'm going to give you numbers, but let me give you an example first, an actual story.
Okay.
I was in Singapore one time, about 5, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and then I was there for another production, and then on the side I just say, "Oh, you might," because I was on camera, I was a talent, I
Hold
was
up. Singapore?
yeah.
So you do international work too?
Do you call that international? Because it's in a different country, right? I was just thinking it's a neighboring country like Asia, so
Well,
it's not
do you
necessarily.
do you need to get a visa for it?
If you're from Southeast Asia, if I understand it correct, no, 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 I don't. I didn't need a visa for Singapore because I'm from the Philippines, and there's like a ASEAN country sort of treaty or agreement that
Got
if
it.
you're
But
from Southeast Asia,
it's still international. So well, at least that's good to know that
because it's in
you
a
do that.
different country. Yeah. So there was
Yeah.
a production that needed me there, and then by chance, I just said I do voiceovers on the side also. Maybe I can like throw my voice in there.
Right.
So in my free time, and again, this is me procrastinating to try to answer your original question about how much I charge.
I'm catching on to that.
I walk into studios and give him my voice. They call this voice samples or your
Right. Right.
so that they can present it to clients or whatever, right?
Mm.
So I'm there for a week. I walk into a couple of studios on the free day that I had, and a couple of days later, I get a call that, hey, can you be on standby for the next couple of days for a voiceover project that we might do? I was like, yeah, sure. I'm here for another job, but I'm sure I can squeeze some time in between because it's just voiceover. Maybe
Right.
it'll
Right.
take like 15 minutes, an hour to record.
Do you charge like a blocking fee?
I had nothing. Yes, usually you could and you would, but
Right.
that one I was just, yeah, sure, whatever. I was just so lackadaisy about it, right? And can you be available for a couple? Just keep your calendar free for a couple of days,
Right.
and we'll let you know. And yeah, well, I don't know. In here in the you call it a blocking fee. Here in the Philippines, I think we call it like a token fee. Just for being considerate enough to consider us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called a retainer, or or it's either called a blocking fee, a retainer, or a. Hi,
Cute,
baby.
cute little lady coming in there. Like little person walks
You wanna
in.
listen? Can you hear yourself?
Hello, Jojo. Hello,
Say
Ari.
say hi, Noel. Say hi,
Hello.
Noel. Okay, go to Mama now. Dad.
Hello.
I'll be there soon.
So curious.
Where's Mama?
If you guys are just looking at the video right now, his kid just walked in, said hello. Just like 2 years old, right? 3.
2. Yeah, he's about to turn 3 on April. Okay.
Totally
I'll finish it.
disrespecting the boundary that he created behind him.
Get out of here, man. Anyway, sorry.
This non-existent curtain that he ever so. You need to put a door back there.
No, I can't because
there are like sound booth rooms.
there are. Yeah.
That
A lot of people here. I know we're getting off subject again, but really quick. A
professional
lot of people
voiceovers.
buy
Yeah.
they buy a shed in Home Depot, like one of those backyard sheds, and then they turn it into a studio because you can actually buy a
Yeah.
backyard shed for like $500,
Right.
and it fits like a whole studio for like 4 people.
And the cheap version of that, I mean, like a sound studio, right? You're probably talking about like a studio for, like, I don't know, playing guitars or your musical instrument or what. But for voiceovers,
Yeah, no.
the cheap version for me is just to walk into my closet,
Oh, I've done that. Yeah.
full of clothes, which is the best, sound muffler for
Right.
the microphone.
Anyway, going back to your story.
Yeah, just to finish that roundabout story is a couple of days go by, I don't get a call,
Right.
and they said, sorry for the inconvenience, here's $200.
for 5 days work. I mean,
For
being on hold for 4 days.
2 days.
That's awesome. What are you talking about?
Just for
500, $200 to sit around.
Oh wait, sorry. You might be not U.S. dollars. Okay, this is Singapore dollars. So it's about 30 pesos instead of 50 pesos per dollar. So not
So,
as yeah, not as not maybe let's say about $100 on
I mean, that's
your
that's still not bad. That's
yeah
like
yeah
what, 5,000, 6,000 pesos, more or less.
thereabouts. I mean, nothing to complain about just for saying yes, right?
Right. Exactly. I mean,
And
you're just
again,
there.
I didn't get the job, but it's some of the perks of being in this industry. But that's a good client slash good studio that I had a relationship with.
Right.
Majority, or if you're unaware, or if you could be taken advantage of. You can make the
Right.
recording, they could sell the voice, the product, and not even pay you. So I've had nightmares like that also.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's why you have to be careful about that, you know?
yeah, so it as varied as that nightmare kind of a story is, from so wonderful you're just sitting around, you get paid 200 Singapore dollars, to spending 2, 3, 4 hours of work and not getting paid for it, like
Right.
zero, still waiting for the check. It that it's the same thing for because it's the creative space, maybe, or maybe
Well,
it's
it also boils down, do you create legal documents,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's another thing.
do you?
So, as long as yeah, I have to. Even for relatives, even for friends, I have to.
Right.
It's funny I haven't done that with this podcast, but technically speaking, we should, so that
We probably should.
because time goes by and people's memories fade away, or
Yeah.
misunderstandings. But yeah,
Yeah.
bottom
Yeah.
line is, it really comes down to what your relationship is. You know how there's no like format or specific, you guys can come up with anything.
Right.
Like the client can literally just say, "Oh, I'll just treat you to dinner for the rest of your life," and you're okay with that, and that's fine. So there's like no monetary. It's hard to put like a monetary value to it, and even
Well,
tell you. I mean,
yeah.
and yes, I have like a minimum or what, but you know,
But you have to put value to your work. That's the bottom line there, you know?
right?
If you
Exactly,
don't put value to your work, you get taken advantage of.
exactly,
There's no structure.
exactly. So I have like a
Yeah.
little minimum that I want to do. That if I'm doing the camera, or if I'm doing
Right.
whatever it is that I'm doing, there's like a little minimum that I'm
Disclaimer, quick
comfortable
disclaimer.
with.
Quick disclaimer. If this becomes monetized and whatnot, it is 50-50 no matter what, right? In the state of Virginia, a verbal statement is binding. So if we agree 50-50 right now, it's binding already. That's the law.
I'm just happy to be talking to you, my friend.
Did you,
So
for those of you listening, did you notice that hesitation, that silent hesitation? This scumbag over here is plotting something.
I'm just happy to be in touch with an old high school friend. It's free therapy for me. So
Right.
I
Well,
should be paying you to be in this podcast. It's,
if you need to tell me if we're able to monetize it some way or the other, you're not gonna take it,
of
really.
course I will. I'm just trying
That's
to
right.
be. I'm just
Exactly.
just trying
What
to
an
be.
asshole.
But hey, it was your idea, so it could be 51-49. I'll give you that 1%.
Okay, I'll take it.
It was your idea. Although it didn't take me a lot of convincing to do, but I'll give you
Well,
that credit. It was your idea.
we've said before, it's a discussion we've had multiple times before. We just procrastinated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the fact that you were the one that put it on the calendar first, I'd give you that
I
credit.
guess. Whatever. I know why.
But I appreciate the 50-50 consideration. Although I wouldn't mind it being
I mean,
51-49.
I mean, you'd probably take the 51. That's
No,
just
I'll
the
give you
kind of guy you
I'll give you
are.
that 1%, but that's as low as I'll go.
Okay, thanks.
See,
Appreciate it.
I have my limits. I have my boundaries, bro.
Um, what were we talking about? I completely forgot. Holy crap.
I hopefully indirectly sort of answered your question. Do you still need like a specific number or amount?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Minimum would be dinner for
For 2 months,
no dinner for a friend or two. Let's say dinner for four. Let's say party of five. A good
right?
dinner for party of five.
Right.
That's my
That's the bare
minimum
minimum. And then,
for a day rate.
oh, for a day rate.
I'd like to say an hour rate, but I don't want to be too greedy. But yeah, but that's the thing. That's another question. Like, what kind of restaurant are we going to all eat at?
Right.
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 So that's another. It's a really wide sort of range. Kind of really depends on. It depends on where the location is. Are we just going to do this thing online? Are we going to meet physically? Are we? There's just so many like massageable things. Like there was this time. This guy needed a camera
Hmm.
to shoot. Like his cameraman like bailed out on him on 1 minute, but
Right.
I just so happened to be on my way to, he was on the way to a chore that I was going to do, and I wanted to have dinner nearby to a place that I haven't been to in a long time. So it's like one of those considerations. I was just like, just pay for the dinner. So it was literally like 1,000, 2,000 pesos that he gave me. That's about, how much is that in dollars? Like 50, $75, something like that in US,
Mhm.
maybe, which is, let's say, dirt cheap. But I kind of didn't mind because, and he was an artist. So I found it interesting to talk to him, kind of thing. So it's really all about like what
Relationships.
I get value from talking to him also,
Right.
right? But if, let's say, I'm going to shoot a can of sardines, there's no conversation there. It's just a product.
Right.
And then you plan to sell it. But this guy, let's say he's doing like a message to his church or community or whatever. So there's a different value to that than selling a wrench or, let's say, a can of sardines or a specific product that you want to sell to someone, and then you want to make money off of that. That's a different sort of calculation in my head. Does that make any sense?
No. you did everything you could to beat around the bush. I'm simply asked that, you know what? It doesn't matter. It
Well,
doesn't matter.
200.
But
Let's go.
I do have a general idea now.
Let's go with $200
That's good.
US.
That's good though. Yeah. That's per whatever. Yeah.
My rates have increased since Singapore.
Right. That's good.
Now that we're doing this internationally. And here we are again, folks, on the podcast, putting our dirty faces on screen for the rest of the world to feast on.
Yeah. Give it up. I don't know. I'm still hopeful.
I'm still hopeful I'll get out of this Lack-see-day-zee lifestyle.
Maybe you'll move around a little bit more.
Who knows? Maybe that's what I'm selling. Maybe the Lack-see-day-zee lifestyle. Get the DVD now. $10 off if you get it within the next
off.
10 minutes.
Bootleg. I wanted to segue really quick. Let's talk about Commander D and Kulas.
Are we? Are we going to finally get to talk about our man crushes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're looking spiffy late. No, I was watching Commander D. For those of you who don't know, if you go to YouTube and search for Commander Daot, I guess it's Commander Crazy translated. It's a Bisaya. Daot is like Bisaya word for crazy. So
I think crazy, bad.
yeah. But yeah, something like that.
Mm.
I've been listening to this and watching this guy's vlogs since the beginning of time for him, at least.
Mhm.
Um, if you actually look at Kulas, which is becoming Filipino, Commander D first showed or appeared in his vlogs.
Isn't that crazy? When
Yeah.
like two creators, two different vloggers show up. I mean, I'm sure it's normal. But the fact that they're both like traveling and they're both sort of doing their own thing. I mean, yes,
Well, no.
there are normal vloggers that come together because they want to collaborate naturally.
Right.
But the fact that these guys have traveling type of vlogs.
Well, Commander D didn't really start traveling,
Blows my mind.
Actually, he was just that literally just flew by mine. um,
Sorry, say it
so
again.
no, when Commander D started, he was just appearing in Becoming Filipinos shows, basically, in his vlogs.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no. So about 3 years ago, Kulas moved to Catail,
Okay.
in Mindanao and whatnot, and basically he started. He was continuing his vlogs there, and at that time when he first moved there, when Kulas first moved there, he was staying at the resort. Like it's like a beach resort. It's a local beach resort where Commander D actually just seems to be hanging out a lot. He was just there. He hangs out there. They started talking. They became friends. But Commander D's actually been in that region longer than Kulas. What had happened?
Kulas has
What?
been Commander D was has been there longer, but Kulas was making the vlogs longer.
Correct.
Okay.
Kulas has been vlogging for like what, 8 years now, maybe.
Okay.
But basically, Commander D had a fishing business. He has like a fish pond over at the other side of the beach area.
But he wasn't vlogging it yet.
No. And throughout his appearances to Becoming Filipinos vlogs, I guess they got the talking, and Kyle Jennerman suggested to him that, hey, your life is very interesting. You should vlog.
I wonder if they'll tell me, Noel, your life is not interesting. You shouldn't vlog.
You should stop. Save people the boredom and the pain.
That's why it's a super secret vlog.
Right. Which I watch. So it's not that. Well, you give me access to it.
So Kulas encouraged Daot to do his thing.
Correct. Yeah. And at that time, Daot was actually, and I commend him for this. He was going through like a really, really rough phase in his time, a rough time in his life.
Financially, because of the fish pond? What about exactly?
Well, from what his vlogs was showing, he got cheated in his business, basically.
Oh shit! I didn't pick up on that.
Well, he's got employees in the fish ponds.
Yeah.
So he purchased a certain number of fish to grow, to raise, and whatnot, and then come. How do you call it when they start picking up all the fish before they sell it? What are you doing? Seriously.
Just ignore. Just ignore. Trying to fix the light. Sorry, guys.
No,
Go ahead. I hope it's not too distracting.
Basically, the outcome of the, picking all the fish for selling and whatnot was short, basically. So he found out basically that some of his employees were stealing his fish.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he say that in one of the vlogs and one of the videos?
He didn't directly say it, but he indirectly stated that there are a few bad seeds among his employees.
Okay. I was wondering if that's something that you guys talked about privately
No.
recently.
No.
I don't want
Little
to.
backstory on that. I've been messaging with Commander D. I'm trying to get him to um
Yeah, I don't want us
be
to get
interviewed
into.
in our show.
I don't want us to get into trouble before we get the chance to actually talk to him. Oh, because
Uh,
you talked about my fish pond. I don't want to talk to you
no,
guys again anymore.
no, I think it'll be okay. But yeah. So he at that time of his vlogs, it was actually pretty heavy. He was going through a very very hard time in his life, and to be honest with you, it's that kind of that was something that I really related with in regards with him.
Business wise,
Now the
what part
whole
of
the whole he had to overcome a lot of demons in his life. He didn't
personal
go into major
demons?
specific. Yeah, like bad things happening.
Okay, no, I just wanted to put it into context, like to wrap it around my head. If it's like bad things that are happening to you from externally from the outside, or because of something inside that's manifesting into your reality, if that makes
It's
any
both.
sense.
It's
Both
both,
ways,
really.
both ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in his case, I don't know if you have gotten to that part yet. He actually talked about how he almost took his life.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Yeah.
just okay. Okay, I get you.
I mean, for anybody to get to that point, and you're what do you call it?
Considering it.
It's yeah. Well, not considering it, actually going to put it into action.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary. That's a really scary thing. I mean, I can't even imagine what would lead anybody to consider or try to take their life. He was saying that he put himself in a noose and put it over the wood, and that wood broke, basically. Now that he said that
Mm,
his saving grace was the wood that he tried to use with
mm,
the noose
mm.
broke. So, and obviously, I'm glad it didn't happen and whatnot. But I'm like, wow, and to be able to speak about it publicly and whatnot, you know,
It's kind.
that's something to commend.
Sorry, there seems to be like a low-hanging fruit of a joke there, which we probably shouldn't mention
Probably
because we're
not.
talking
Yeah.
about something sensitive like that. But yeah, I guess sometimes uh I don't know, I want to say like stupidity is actually in your favor. Sometimes it's not always. You know how there's like uh there's luck, and then there's fate, and then there's destiny, and then
Yeah.
if something bad goes wrong, is that bad luck? You never know. It could actually
I
be
don't know.
it's hard to say when something good or bad happens because you.
In his case, it seems like it was faith. I mean, out of that, all these great things in his life has happened. He you could tell from his vlogs, and like I said, I cannot commend him enough for sharing it out there in the world. He really, you know, put everything out there, especially the bad parts of his life that he was going through. And after that, one good thing after the other started happening, and it was great.
I guess you're not saying that his life is lackadaisy.
Oh God, no. There's only a number of people that I know that just lives their lives lackadaisically.
One.
No, but one thing I really what I wonder about these guys, their lives are out there so much. Is giving up your anonymity worth it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got a
I
hundred
mean,
plus, maybe 150, let's say 200 thousand subscribers, give or take Facebook and all the other social media also. But I think in YouTube, like 150, 159,000
right,
or something like that. I wonder
right.
if it comes to a point where it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like
It can't be that easy.
Where
safety
and privacy becomes a problem.
Right. And then, going on that, he always like shares or records like the subdivision that he lives in. Like he's always recording from his house as well. Um, I don't know. But again, like Kulas with becoming Filipino, there's random people always visiting his property.
But here's the thing, and I don't want to be the cynical Filipino about this, but maybe sometimes, and with his fish pond experience, and which is another one of those things that I want to ask, with the bad experience with him in the fish pond, I'm sure these guys have had other bad, quote unquote, bad experiences with Filipinos, and unfortunately, maybe sometimes are they being naive or underestimating how bad Filipinos can be? I mean, sorry for saying that, but I'm sure it's like that in any country, any nationality has bad eggs. But the nice thing is they're portraying the Philippines as such a nice paradise, good place to be in, and everybody's hospitable. But I guess even with bad experience, they don't regret what they did. I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase the question without sounding like a jerk. You understand what I mean?
No, I know what you're trying to say. I think it's just their point of view on life is so positive that they're able to succumb and move away quite quickly from something wrong that goes on. You know what I mean?
Maybe at the end of the day, there's really going to be more good than bad. But it takes just one bad, let's say, person to do something bad to.
Right.
Am I looking at it the wrong way? But do you know what I mean? Like it takes one person to ruin the whole thing.
You're not really looking at it the wrong way. You're kind of looking at it realistically because not everything is perfect, right?
Yeah.
But maybe they're just very optimistic about things, which is great. I wish I had that attitude more. I can't say the exact same thing. They're so positive. Well, they've made it to a point that, and they've shared it that not everything is positive, but you have to look at the positive even with the negative. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It just helps you work things out better.
I wonder if they're doing that consciously, like as part of their quote unquote their branding in terms of their videos. Or
see, that's the thing. I think that's just how they've decided to live their lives already. To be so positive, spreading positivity,
that they're not faking it. They're really like that.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
I just hate to be thinking so cynical about it. Like somebody might think of like, oh, you're so positive, huh? Let's see if, well, you're going to be positive even if I steal your car. You're going to be positive anyway. But like put that positivity to the test.
Well, that's just like pushing the boundaries. I mean, dude, is it really something that should be tested? Maybe, but it'd be nice if you don't. If it's not,
Because another cynical way to look at it is, yeah, you're popular on YouTube, but you're not popular here in this province, and I'll teach you a lesson on. You know what I mean? It's like it's like 99.9% of the world might not even know about them, but because they're in this, sphere of YouTube popularity that they might. I'm afraid for them, and I pray that for their safety and everything. But at the same time, I worry at the same time. So that's what. And here I am worrying about it at 267 subscribers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's just impressive how positive they've actually lived their lives, and it reflects, it shows. Just for example, well, the way they put it as well, like is they project it so much that it happens to be around them most of the time. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like for example, when Commander D, I don't know if you saw that episode, he was in a motorcycle accident,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
This is just a complete stranger in the middle of nowhere in a province that he's never been in. He crashed his bike
That doesn't know
off
that
a cliff.
he's a YouTuber
Correct. But they don't know who he was. He falls, he crashes his bike, falls off a small cliff with the bike. He
on
could
top of
have
him.
lost, yeah, on top of it. He could have lost his life. And these strangers, out of nowhere, literally did everything they could to physically lift the motorcycle up the hill, up the little cliff, help him out.
I wouldn't go as far as say that he could have lost his life. I think he was going really slow. He fell about maybe 10, 15, let's say
If
20
you
feet.
watch the video, there's a giant rock between him that the motorcycle was ledged on. If that rock wasn't there,
Right.
that could have crushed him.
Crushed him. It would have hurt. He could have broken a couple of bones, but not death. He wasn't like going like 80 or 90.
No, I mean, he was going like 35 from what he said, 35, 40. I mean, at that speed, you could still die off that. What, are you crazy?
Yeah. No,
Yes, come on.
I don't think.
I mean, if you fall off a cliff at 30 miles an hour and a 200-pound bike falls on you,
No, not
you mean
miles.
to tell me?
I think that was kilometers. He was on kilometers. I think he was going really slow, even slower than 30. Whatever. Anyway, I just don't think that he would have died from it. He would have been really hurt, but not
I don't
death.
think that's the point.
That's not the point. Exactly.
Right.
Just,
The point is, these people around him,
yeah.
perfectly good, perfectly strangers,
Right.
just decides to help him out.
Right. But see, there's my cynical brain thinking, yeah, but remember that time that he tried to have this this fish pond business and these people were, stealing from him.
Right.
Right? So it's like,
Well, I mean, you can expect everything to go proper or perfectly for the rest of your life with everything you do. There is negativity that happens.
it's good that you brought that up though. I mean, those are things that wish we have time to talk to him about if we get the chance. Fingers
Right.
crossed, legs
Right.
crossed.
I mean, with that, the your anonymity is basically non-existent in so many ways. Like those two, like Kulas and Commander D, could travel all over the Philippines, and they're recognized. Well, I don't know if you saw Kulas's episode where he went back to Canada to visit his family.
No, I didn't see that one.
Filipinos recognized them. Filipinos and Canadians
In Canada.
in Canada went up to him and like, "Oh, hey, it's you! I watch your vlog." Yada yada yada.
I think that's something worth mentioning and saying also about people that put themselves on camera,
Right.
and which is probably what I'm guilty of, because I know if I'm bullshitting, I know if I'm putting up a front and not being authentic, and I think that's what I appreciate about them, and I think I can speak for the rest of the people that appreciate also that they see that even if we're cynical like this, we can see that what they're putting on camera is not a facade or it's not authentic.
Right.
Like our bullshit meter
It is authentic. Not you. I think you meant to say it is authentic.
Exactly. It is authentic. And I'm just like relating it back to me, but never mind about me and my experience. But point is, I think that's the reason why we are following these guys, because as positive as they are and as almost unrealistic it looks and feels, they can't help themselves but be that way, which is, I think, what sort of drags us or pulls us to watch, because gosh, this guy is really, really like that.
Right. I know. That's amazing. It's very impressive. And a little jealous, like I said. Yeah. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I wish I could have their outlook in life more.
Where do they pass out those red pills or blue pills? Where do I get that scene?
Right?
Where do I get that scene where I get to choose?
Right.
Morpheus.
Can you imagine though?
Call me.
If that that being said, with all the positivity that they go to, I'm sure there's also a lot of negativity, right? So my
Yeah.
question is, with the camera in front of them all the time, how do they censor themselves? You know,
I
do
don't
they
think there's a
watch
camera on
themselves?
them all the time.
Well,
Can't
for the
be.
most part,
Can't be. And here's the thing: it's a camera that they're holding themselves. It's not like a secret cameraman is videoing, taking a video of them secretly 24/7, and they just
right?
edit.
No, but if you're holding your camera and you're vlogging for like 8 hours, for example, okay, 8 hours straight, maybe only 20 minutes of that is what you're gonna use.
Not even.
Wait, that's what I'm saying. So my that being said, do they ever slip up? I want to ask, do they ever slip? How do they censor themselves? It's got to be hard. I constantly, we're doing this little shindig here that nobody cares about, and with 15 people subscribed, and I'm already like worried and trying to censor myself like crazy, and I hate it. You know.
What if Colas and Commander Daot says, "Hey Noel, Jason, just be honest. Just be authentic.
Just
be
give up.
no. Just be yourself."
Well, we kind of are. We're trying to at
But
least.
you just said, and I would say the same thing. We're editing ourselves.
Yeah, I know.
So you're
I
not
know.
being yourself. We're not being
Exactly.
ourselves. Here we are. We're here. We are putting on a show, editing ourselves. This is an edited show, folks.
Well, here's my editing to myself. This whole cussing thing and whatnot here and there. I don't really cuss that much, to be honest with you.
I think that's a start, right? Like to at least recognize what we're bullshitting about or how
Right.
we're.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as I'm bullshitting. Maybe I'm just exaggerating. Is that even worse? That sounds worse.
We have to exaggerate for the show, right?
I don't know. Do we?
Oh.
Huh.
Can you imagine if Daot and Colas were like, so hey guys, I'm holding the camera right now. We're here. We're eating in this carinderia, blah blah blah. And when they turn off the camera, yeah, can I order pwede isa pang patis? So their energy is so much lower compared to,
Right.
okay guys, oh we're back on the camera and here we are. We're taking a video, and then
Yeah. I think you've seen me when I was drinking the other day, that's how exaggerated or the most I get projected as when I'm socializing. There's not much difference really. When I like if you and I are having a drink, this would be probably the same way I'd be having a conversation with you.
that's
It's
why
just
I
the
was
way it
thinking.
is.
That's why I was thinking it would be a good show because you were authentically drinking. But see, my authenticity is when all the lights are turned off. That's me. That's the real me.
Right. Right.
Everything turned off. No beautiful lights to make me look pretty.
Oh, stop it. Well, turn it back on, you ding dong.
That's my authenticity. But because, we're putting on a show, I'm forced to turn on the lights and make myself look prettier than I
Presentable.
really, really am. I like to use the word pretty. Not even presentable. Presentable has too many syllables in it. Pretty is
That's too hard.
a little simpler.
Yeah, but
But
I'm just curious, like I want to ask them how the reality of things are for them, or at least for any of them, really, because it can't be that easy.
yeah, I want to ask them where they get the red pill. Where do you order that?
Right. Well, what makes you so sure that they took the red pill? Why not the green pill?
Just where do you get that attitude? Where does it actually come from?
Right.
And to put yourself on camera, on record, and to publish it. I mean, it's great if you're just talking about the fish pond, but you end up talking about yourself and what's going through your head. And
Right. Right. I also want to figure out if it's scripted, in some scenarios.
it
Like when they
can't
there's
be.
no way, huh?
Can't be.
It's
I
too
know,
natural.
I'm sure that Daot does a little bit of scripting on his voiceovers,
Right.
but it's when they're at that moment, let's say when he had that crash, or when they're eating food, they're trying to capture their reactions on that moment. So that's a
Right.
reaction shot. That's okay. Tell me how you feel. What are you going through right now? I don't think that can be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well,
I see what you're saying.
it's scripted probably in the sense that they thought about it, but before they turn on the camera, but not scripted like on a piece of paper or on their phone that they're reading off
Right.
of a
Right.
script. I mean,
Yeah.
it also depends on what you mean by script.
Well, like I don't mean like physical scripts, like more like setting things up, like you said, like, hey, let's go to this current area, test out some food, and let's talk about it, type of thing. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's got to be. There's got to be some sort of a plan for the day, and if anything like shit hits the fan or something goes wrong that's not planned, that's part of the. I'm sure
Right.
there's a point. We got to get from point A to B, but something happened in between. That's the story. That's the.
Content could be created anywhere, anytime. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that every day, day in, day out, or whatnot, and posting it to the world.
And
To
here
be
we
honest
are.
with you, after watching you do your super secret podcast and whatnot, I tried just to
Hmm.
just to get the feeling of, like, how does it feel to have that on you all the time? What do you talk about? What do you do? So I took my phone and I started my day off in the morning, like recorded myself and all that. The drive to work while I'm at work.
Mm.
Afterwards, I find myself kind of talking to the phone, to the camera. It didn't feel too natural. It's like I'm always constantly thinking, like, maybe I need to say something. You know what I mean?
What were you saying? Oh, here I am. I'm driving. That's it.
No, I'm like, well, trying to think of something, like what's going on in my head. Like, I wonder, type of thing.
And were you thinking or wondering if it's going to be interesting or the audience is going to like it?
No, I wasn't thinking or wondering that at all. I was just more like trying to make sure that I'm actually creating some kind of content. You know,
So where did it go? How did it go for you?
it was horrible. It was horrible. I tried to, like, watch it. I deleted the whole thing, to be honest with you, because it feel and felt too uncomfortable and fake, like scripted.
Can I let you in on a little bit on my super secret vlog?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd say 10 lines and I only pick up one. So that's one thing. So it picks up on the whole idea that the writing, quote unquote, the script, happens on the edit. So that's also what I'm secretly, quote unquote, secretly practicing. So that I would say like 10 things and I could have just said it in just like one line. So maybe I would get line number 1 and line number 7 and just try to put those together.
Right.
Because I have this so roundabout way of explaining. So that's one thing. So I'm trying to practice the getting straight to the point or conveying the message in as little number of words as possible. So
Right.
that's one thing that I'm trying to practice. And the other thing that I'm super secretly trying to practice is what you just said, that what if what if I was doing this every day all the time and it's just so natural? I think
Right.
that's where it becomes weird and awkward because it's not every day so natural. I've made like 10 videos and I'm not anywhere close to where I think it could or should be. Can you imagine these guys have done like 100 plus videos
Right.
and I'm only at 10 and I am complaining,
Right. Right.
and you've done one and there you are deleting it.
Right. Well, I didn't delete, like, what I did. I separated the video from the audio, and I trashed all the audio. I trashed it. I literally just threw it out and deleted it. So what I'm actually trying to do, I'm gonna try to put it together, and I'm gonna have you see it so you can comment it, because I was actually the video is not that bad. I was thinking of like possibly doing like a voiceover. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Because so
Which is a lot of work, by the way. If Daot does that, I don't know if Colas does that as much as
I
Daot
don't
does.
think Colas does, but Dao does. He does a lot of voiceovers to what it is that he's posting out there.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, obviously, the storytelling is amazing too.
I think maybe what we're trying to get at is, or maybe the point of this whole thing that we're getting at is that the more you do it yourself, the more respect you have for these guys.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of the production value, the making of the video itself, and what goes on with the authenticity side. Like the more that they do it, the more you have respect for it because they
Right.
just have the balls to do it. So
Yeah, because everybody and anybody can say, I can make a vlog. Man, I take that back. Because I'm one of those guys that said that, like it can't be that hard. No, once that, even if you're doing by yourself, if you're holding that camera pointing at you and whatnot, your brain does freeze out.
So, what happened in your head? Like, screw this vlogging thing. I'll just call Noel and do a podcast.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to vlog anyway. I wanted to. Remember, we had this discussion the other day on like how it makes you feel about when you're vlogging or whatever. The whole feeling you have about the super secret podcast, not wanting anybody to watch it. I wanted to get a better understanding of where you were coming from. That's why I did it. Do you know what I mean? So I did get it.
I don't know if this answers your question, but the reason why well, call it a super secret, because the whole idea of like being conscious about what other people will think. But if I'm super secret about it, meaning I'm just sort of making it for myself and maybe a handful of friends, has a different dynamic.
It does, because it's in your psyche.
Exactly. Which is the same thing that I sort of had in mind for this recording that we're doing now. I kind of wanted it to be a super secret podcast that nobody else will listen to because it's just me and Jason talking. But now, I have like maybe like 15 people in mind that have subscribed to 15 people that probably 2 or 3 of them are really listening.
Right. Well, I can really attest to what you were talking about because I felt the exact same thing you just said. It made me really like cautious or whatever about what people are going to say, what people are going to think.
Which is listening to me. Which is why it's super secret, because I didn't want that to be a factor. I just wanted to do the actual making of the video, the actual just talking to camera.
Right.
The factor, and not the audience to be a factor. So it instead of, there's the making it, the talking to it, and the people watching it. Those are 3 different things. So just take one out to make it less complicated and to just do it.
Right.
Because I enjoy doing it. And why do I not do it? Because of what other people think. That's
Yeah. I mean, it takes time. I think we'll get there, at least for me personally. I'd like to be able to be a little bit more real than how I am right now, if that makes sense.
You know what some of the YouTube consultants say, make 100 and then talk to me, but don't complain. Like you're
like
not
100 videos.
Yeah, 100 podcasts, 100 episodes. Like we're not even in that space yet where we're worthy to have that discussion with them because we haven't done the work.
Exactly, and we're bitching about it. Well, at least one of us is.
Okay, I think we're gonna run out of time. That's about where we end today.
Okay, well, anywho.
As soon as it gets uncomfortable and we're really spilling the beans, gotta go. Let's pull out.
When shit hits the fan and things get real, that's when we start hiding back in our shell.
But at least we're skirting around it. At least we're sort of acknowledging it. It's not as deep as it's not as in depth as it could or should be. But the fact that we recognize that it's there, I think it's a step forward. So 99 more episodes to go. We should be all right.
Well, no, 88 episodes.
If you count the other ones. But this is really the only one where we sort of acknowledge that. All the other episodes that we've kind of bullshitted ourselves around.
I wouldn't say we bullshitted ourselves around it. We kind of, Let's leave it at that.
This is better than the other episodes because this is less bullshit than the last ones. Would you agree?
Right. Yeah, I agree. Again, the flip side is it's getting real, and it's getting real pretty quick.
And you did that without any drink in hand.
Well, what are you making? You're making it sound like I'm drinking every episode. Jeez.
Is there?
It was only 2 episodes. That's it.
Anything else that you wanted to bring up, or
that's it? Screw you. Anyway, no. Anyway, it was a good episode. Had a fun conversation, dude. That was a good one. It actually really was. Anyway, thanks for listening. I guess that's it. My name is Jason.
Lack-see-day-zee Life. My name is Noel.
And oh shit!
What?
I froze.
Take two. Okay. Rewind. You gonna edit this, or am I editing this, or we'll just?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's up to you. It's up to your call. All right.
Keep it on.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
That's what I think we have trouble with. The beginning and the end. We should just scrap all the intros and the extras out and just cut it.
Okay.
Like start.
Well, I don't want to just cut it.
Watch. I'll show you how it's cut on the edit.
Okay. Well, my name's Jason.
My name's Noel.
All right. See you next time.
On the flip side.
2 guys, 2 worlds. This is the flip side. New episodes uploaded on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify every week on Wednesday and Saturday.